처음 사랑이란 열병을 알았던 날 그 다음 주에 시즌도 나았지만 참 되고 싶은 것들도 많았었던 그 중에 거의 대부분은 비밀이었지만 참 용감했던 소녀와 또 겁이 없던 소녀가 만났으니 우린 못할 게 없었지. 16 여전히 우린 거기 어디쯤 있겠지. 16 그리고 그 여름은 뜨거웠었지. 16 여전히 꿈을 꾸던 우리가 있겠지. 16 그리고 그 여름은 아름다웠지. 세상 어떤 누구보다 가까웠던 너 우리 서로 같은 반이 아닐 때조차 늘 오랜만에 만난 듯 수다스럽다 바로 정말 그러다 헤어졌었지만 눈 감으면 모든 게 하나하나 리플레이 돼 그저께 본 영화 그보다 선명히 16 여전히 우린 거기 어디쯤 있겠지. 16 그리고 그 여름은 뜨거웠었지. 16 여전히 꿈을 꾸던 우리가 있겠지. 16 그리고 그 여름은 아름다웠지. 나의 가장 눈에 부신 그때의 너에게 하고 싶은 말을 담아 하늘에 날려봐 억수로 가득한 16의 달별아 둘만의 비밀 얘기 혹시나 기억하니 내가 사랑한 게 타임캡슐을 열면 내가 사랑한 게 타임캡슐을 다시 going back 다시 going back 16 소중해 나무 아래 묻어둔 기억이 16 언젠가 너와 함께 열어봐야지. 16 여전히 우린 거기 어디쯤 있겠지. 16 그리고 그 여름은 뜨거웠었지. 16 여전히 꿈을 꾸던 우리가 있겠지. 16 그리고 그 여름은 아름다웠지. 16 소중해 나무 아래 묻어둔 기억이 16 언젠가 너와 함께 열어봐야지.
Good evening and welcome back to Keskalokil, my dwarven fortress by and occasionally under the sea. Well, actually, it's often under the sea. The danger is when the sea is in the fortress. So last session we didn't have any catastrophic floods at all. And I think I kind of organised... It was more of an organising things session than an actually doing things session. But one of the things we organised was more military squads so that we have some who are dedicated to being able to swim, which means that the next time the goblins turn up we can probably fight them on the beaches or at least in the delta here, which will be excellent if my dwarves can dodge into the water and come out alive and the goblins can dodge into the water and drown. Though I am slightly worried now by what's going to happen if they dodge into the sea, because the sea is in much of this area 2Z levels deep. Well, I'm not sure if you can get out at all up a cliff. So, like, maybe they'll have to swim round to the river itself. I'm not sure, but like we'll find out, and they'll probably survive. Maybe we'll just have to go out there and engineer a beach. I'm kind of tempted to engineer a beach anyway. Like, we've got this sand, but all of the actual coast is made of shale and gypsum. But maybe if we like remove some of the shale and gypsum, we could have a proper nicely sloping beach. So yes, we've got now 5 squads, the original 3 and then 2 with slightly watery names, Splatter the Lyrical Seas of Turmoil and The Waters of Twinkling. And one thing I need to do is to tell The Waters of Twinkling to engage in staggered training like everyone else. So, because at least some of our swimmers don't really know how. Oh dear, I've just inhaled my tea. Don't really know how to operate a sword at all, so they might need a bit of practice. There's also another thing I know. I should also look at their equipment situation. I think we may. These scroll bars don't seem to quite work properly some of the time. That scrolled the wrong way. There we go. So lots of people haven't, or at least not currently wearing their trousers. Some people don't have trousers assigned at all. And we have a slight shortage of boots. And possibly of shields. So yes, of helms, sorry. So how is our production of steel working? What have I actually done in that area? So we have a make pig iron task, which operates basically when we have a shortage of pig iron and an adequacy of iron and flux-stone. And a make steel bars task, which is currently stalled on not having enough pig iron. And a... Do we have something for smelting things into iron? I mean, yes, we have a smelt hematite, which is conditional on whenever the iron runs out. And I suppose does strictly depend on us having a stock of hematite. But I bet we've got plenty of already mined hematite. And we've got plenty of other iron ores that we just aren't using yet. Because iron ore is really, really not something we're short of. Yeah, we've got 82 hematite lying around. So what's our steel situation? I think when I looked it was like 10 bars of steel. 14. So that's, I think it's 3 per item of armour, where a pair of boots qualifies. So that means we can make 5 more items of armour. I mean, ultimately, I'd like everyone equipped in steel, if possible. So if we look at the bottom, yeah, 5 pairs of steel high boots will probably not be a bad idea. That task, despite the singular nature of its name, actually makes a pair. Just going, I found a thing that makes me think that maybe we don't need more buckets. Maybe all we need is a stockpile containing a barrel or 2 to store lye in, so that we don't insist on keeping it in buckets. So I'm going to experimentally do that and then turn off the bucket making task. So let's have a tiny, well, not quite tiny, a tiny stockpile there, which will be set to, I think lye is in this categorisation of food. Misc liquid lye. Well, yes, indeed. And then it should be set to be able to take 2 barrels. No. So then, all being well, the dwarves should stick a barrel in there and dump all the lye in there from buckets, and then we shouldn't need so many buckets. So let's temporarily thus inspect that. Oh no, we'll just remove that make bucket thing. Let's assume we thus have enough buckets. And I may, one of my dwarves was unhappy due to not having done any crafting recently, and so I gave them a job, didn't I? To make wooden crafts. I think they're asleep now, but they'll get round to it eventually. Oh yes, I just remembered I found saw a video on YouTube yesterday of a Korean factory making rice cookers out of solid granite, which was, looked very much like dwarves might do with their making slightly inappropriate things out of solid rock. Only they have more electricity.
I assume these are very upscale rice cookers.
Well, they're very traditional rice cookers in that they are just a granite pot with a granite lid.
And presumably you get it
Heated over a gas flame, yes.
And then you put the rice and the thing in there and wait.
Yes. So yes, I don't think I'd previously seen a lathe for stone. Anyway, we've got lots of eggs. What are we doing? Yes, so we've now got a bucket. All right, so currently someone has stuck a bucket of lye in our new lye stockpile, which is kind of helpful. I suppose we could also put an oil stockpile as well. Just doing my usual. Is this person good at swimming? No, because the people who go swimming might turn out to be good at it. You're adequate, but you're already a member of the auto. Yes, that one. So I can also see what their uniform situation is here, but I can't do anything. I was wondering, can I move them into a different squad from this interface? No, that would be far too useful. Right. So, one thing I would like to try... Is there anything more that I need to do right now? I don't think there is. One thing I would like to try is investigating sending dwarves on missions, because we've now got a reasonably large military, and we could possibly afford to send some of them out on a mission while the rest stay here. It seems to me that there are several things we could try doing as a mission. We could go and visit the Necromancer's Tower. He has lots of lovely books, but he's a necromancer, so the place is going to be full of undead. I suspect the 10 population is an utter lie, and actually it has a load of extra things that aren't counted as population because they're not alive. And plus, if we start annoying a necromancer, the necromancer might come and besiege us here, and that's going to be unpleasant. So I feel that our first quest should not be to go and lay siege to a necromancer's tower, even if it does have lots of books in it. Yes, so it seems to me that there are 3 things we could do. One is we pick a nearby goblin settlement and basically go and explicitly attack it and see what happens. Another is that we try to establish trading relations with somewhere we haven't already, which you kind of have to do rather aggressively, but we could, for instance, just send a squad to demand tribute from the elves or from one of the other civilizations we haven't communicated with yet. Like there's...
We went straight into aggressive negotiations.
Yes. So, like, there's the Picts of Spray, which is another dwarven civilization that we apparently don't have communications with. Apparently you can get tribute from the goblins, which can be quite fun because they can deliver you, like, tame beak dogs and such. or we could go for some elves, or we pick an interesting sounding artifact and try to obtain it. In particular, I discovered a book about medical ethics, which it's possible we need. So I'm not quite sure which of these.
Medical ethics, or you need the book.
Yes. You know, as as far as I can tell, only one book has ever been written in this world about medical ethics, or indeed medicine in general.
Taught by demonstrations.
Yes. So, like, I'm not quite sure what of these to go for, and we can also invade a site, which would cause the squad that we send to stay there, but I think we can ask them to come back. So I think my kind of inclination is to say that the easy first thing would be to demand tribute from someone. And possibly we should demand tribute from the goblins. They're kind of nearby, so that would be quick. And they know how scary we are. Like, this lot are all part of the failed dungeons, aren't they? Yes. I'm not sure if we're demanding tribute, whether it matters who we send them to. Elder Ghoul is fairly unpopulated. Or we could go for Flydank, which is probably the closest. Okay, no. Crystal Nightmares is a bit closer. Jackal Swelter has very few people, but on the other hand, it's a fortress, so it may be harder to get into. I think I'm inclined to send like 20 dwarves to Elder Ghoul and demand tribute from them and see what happens. Unless anyone wants to tell me to do otherwise. It's a Dark Goblin Pits with a population of 30 that was established fairly recently on the bay that we're on. So a total population of 30 probably means that they wouldn't be able to cause any serious harm to 20 reasonably well-armed dwarves. I mean, like, probably one of the bigger places like Flydank might be okay. So if we do that and then set it to demand ongoing tribute from Elder Ghoul and send the Cobalt Tongs and the Ageless Inks. So we'll still have 25 military dwarves here, 15 of whom can swim. I think that should be reasonable. So I think all I have to do is that. And now if I click on missions, it will list that mission. Aha, and now if we look at this, look in the squads interface, the Cobalt Tongs and the Ageless Inks are both doing both now listed as having orders to demand tribute from Elder Ghoul.
If you watch them carefully, you'll find a considerable amount of faffing about getting all their stuff together.
Yes.
Do they then self-organise to go and do this, or do you have to...
They should do, yes. If they can work out how to get there. Oh, yes, we do have a bridge across this river, don't we? Yes. So all being well, at some point we'll see them departing in this sort of direction. Oh, I found another goblin head here, haven't I? I'm going to need have I got any spare... pedestals? I have. Just set up a pedestal there and stick a goblin head on it. Now I would stick a pedestal at the other end, except there's a tree in the way. Right, so lots of items inaccessible, which is a bit weird. Now my right, now we have in here a lye barrel which has a decent amount of lye in it, and then a couple of buckets of lye as well. Oh, those two buckets are empty because they've been emptied into the barrel, and then no one knew what to do with the empty bucket, so it's been left next to the barrel. But that's fine. My hope then is that the soap making process will work fine, even though the lye is currently stored in a bucket. Apparently we don't yet have enough oil. Oh, and lye containing items is weird. If I now set that to lye, can I set that to lye? Didn't I have some weird problem where, I suppose actually now I might be able to go add an item condition. No, not amount of items. Amount of, well, it's kind of liquid. Amount of lye is at least 10. Right, that seems like a more sensible condition to ask for. Though actually that looks like lye containing items may work as well. So that one flips at 7. That one flips at 5. Okay, why do I have... Okay, now let's remove that and leave that at there, and maybe do some inspection of my stocks. Is there some weirdness, like the buckets count as lye containing items but not lye? Because I actually have 14 units of lye. But maybe half of those count as lye and half of those count as lye containing items for some reason. I don't know. Yes. So what are the military dwarves up to at the moment? Have they left yet? Ah, the military dwarves are departing eastwards, apparently. I wasn't expecting that, but... That seems like an odd way to go if you're trying to get from... where is it? Here to here. It seems strange to be departing off the east side because there's kind of an ocean in the way. Oh well, whatever you say. Still, they are all happily leaving.
Literally happily, or just
Well, maybe.
troop morale-ometer?
Well, the people at the bottom end of the morale-ometer don't seem to be going down, so I think they're leaving happily. In that, I think it's happy people who are leaving.
Now you've got the curmudgeons left.
So we have Ngokang Uxostrostras, or something like that, head, that we want to add to this one. Right. If we find any more goblin heads, we'll set up more pedestals to put them on. So we are going to have to go around the trees a bit. What does the king want now? He wants some chains. Okay. So if I look at my missions now, on what state does it say anything about them? We have 2 commanders travelling to Eldergool, and that looks like there's some way maybe I can get them back. I'm not sure. Let's not press. Well, that says click for assignments and details. Right, so that tells me who's going, and maybe I could send more, but I don't want to do that. Is there anything shown on the map saying where they've got to? Probably not, because I probably only get to find out what's happened when they come back. Well, let's leave them to have fun. It should not take very long for them to get there and accomplish something. And yes, I think we're producing steel, so that will eventually allow us to improve our armour. And indeed weaponry. Okay, we're still short of gems, aren't we? Well, we're trying to fix that by just doing a bit more mining. So yes, I've mined out all the lignite and tetrahedrite from around there. There's a bituminous coal and another tetrahedrite vein over there, but maybe we should try to do mining of things that are like easily accessible to us rather than wandering around all over the place. There's an entire 2 different colours of tourmaline there. So we can actually find odd bits of gems lying around. We should definitely fetch those. And actually, native platinum on general principles. It's not even damp native platinum. Probably we can safely do that in auto mining mode. Right, that's only rock crystal. That's not very exciting. Bituminous coal isn't actually interesting, Ben. You can not bother mining that. So, anything interesting? Yeah, there's not much we can mine there because it's mostly soil at that level. Right, we've made some more high boots, that's nice. That's probably all going to flood annoyingly, isn't it? Let's mark all that for smoothing, which should reduce the amount of flooding a bit. Similarly, this is probably all leaking, isn't it? Let's improve that too. Obviously, this is now going to lead to an enormous number of dwarves coming down here in order to smooth things and getting themselves into trouble, falling in the drains, all that kind of thing. I don't think they should be able to fall into the drains, to be fair. I think I've adequately covered the drains up with grate, but you never know. The cobalt tongs and others have returned. Well, it was only a half day's journey away. So, reports. Mission report, demand tribute from Eldergool. So, in the mid-spring of 109, the Orbs of Yore attacked the Pale Deceiver of the failed dungeons at Eldergool. The dwarf Uzol Wildoker led the attack. I only wanted to demand tribute, but still. And the defenders were led by the goblin Zengod Three-Knot. Cunning plan. Attackers had a strong positional advantage. Cobalt Tongs, poorly led, clashed with two goblins, slaying them. Yes, okay, they did apparently just teleport across the sea. So, Saw Blanket Hammer confronted the dwarf.
Getting several bits chopped off his clothes.
Right. Struck down without any bits getting chopped off.
That was Zengod, a different, Zengod Three-Knots.
Oh, they came back by a sensible route.
So did they actually get round to demanding tribute, or did they just kill 3 goblins and come home?
It looks like all that officially all that we're told happened was 3 goblins were killed and they came home. Whether we will now get tribute as a result, presumably on the grounds that if we don't get tribute, we'll send them off and kill them again. I don't know. Steffa asks, can't they swim by now? Not the ones I just sent, no. At least they shouldn't be able to. I sent my non-aquatic squads on this mission. Right, well, that's a nice lot of native platinum for our making stupid things out of platinum industry. Oh, the smoothing dwarves. No, they probably can't swim either. Not that anyone seems to be coming down here to do any smoothing. Though no one's cancelling smoothing things either. Right, so that mission was kind of successful. So that looks like there were a total of 3 defenders in a place with population 30. But on the other hand, demanding tribute did appear to involve a non-trivial amount of death.
Is it interesting the bit that left out of the report? You'd think we start off, we turned up, we asked for tribute, they said, "Grr."
Yes.
I assume that's what happened. It's what you would have done if they'd shown up and asked for tribute.
Yes. Well, let's go for a much longer mission then. Pink Beast is apparently has said also some of the Necromancer's books may contain the secrets of Skulls and Bones with Dr. Skellybone. Well, more likely he'll have a slab with the secrets of life and death on it. Like there are an awful lot of objects in the world, artifacts in the world. Some of them are claimed by local families. So there's a bronze warhammer called Shower Slides the Ruined Owner, which apparently is claimed by a local family. Also, Dust Taints the Infinite Doom is a dwarf bone grate, claimed by a local family. I think that might be one that I gave away. No, maybe not.
Steel ship I saw a moment ago. Could you use that on your sea?
No, Menacing Steel Spike.
That's true.
Not nearly as helpful. Quite a lot of these are inaccessible. Or like useless. A steel battle axe would be nice, but we don't know where to find it. Or rather, the place where we think we might find it is not accessible. There's a steel mail shirt, which, while sized for elves, would probably fit a dwarf. And it does have an image of dodecahedra on it. But somewhere in it, so yes, we have there are a bunch of slabs around with which, rather curiously, the way that a slab has the secrets of life and death on it is that the precise words, the secrets of life and death, are apparently engraved on the slab.
But it's like cherry capability systems. There'll be a validity bit somewhere around the back that says, yes, and it really is. That's unforgeable.
But like we had a slab with the secrets of life and death on it, and it didn't seem to do anything. Like apparently people don't bother reading slabs even if you set them up in the library. Somewhere in here is... Right, now we're into books, and there are lots of books. So that's there. To the Tower and Glory is one of the books in Vessel Platted, and it appears to be written. It appears to be about Vessel Platted. That's our nearby tower. One of the few books about... I think it's about the moon. Elements of the phases concerns the phases of the moon.
I was thinking phases of the elements would be sensible chemistry, yeah?
So there's evaporation and condensation and beyond.
Ah, yes, that's fair enough.
Surveying appears to be quite a popular subject. I think I may have overshot the book on... oh look, another book about Vessel Platted, in Vessel Platted. They do like their local history there. Start your day with the dwarf. I think somewhere there's start your day with surveying. I think I've overshot the book on... it's something like Meditations on Harm or something. Let's go back up to the top of the books and try to read it a bit more carefully. He says, scrolling through them at a stupid rate. Could it be the humans? Uncanny Ignorance. No, we want a book on medicine. I'm pretty sure there's a book on medicine in here somewhere. Yes, I mean, that blow-by-blow account only included the blows that did something. And not all of them. Where is it? I'm now confused. Start your day with surveying. It would be nice if there were a search, wouldn't it? Because somewhere in here, I'm going to have one more look, is the book about medical ethics. I mean, I suppose it may have got somehow lost, but like it hasn't been very long since I've started up today. Oh, I think maybe I didn't go far enough up. So we'll look a bit higher up and see. Okay, I do love the idea of an iron battle axe called the Goldenrod Connection. I'm slightly sad that we can't go and retrieve the Goldenrod Connection. Oh well, if we fail this time, I'll go and try to fetch the submerged lilac instead. What's the fated grave? No, that's just a bloodstone slab reading the secrets of life and death. Oh, the mysteries of harm. That's the bunny. Bismuthite bound codex. Written portion consists of a 158-page manual entitled The Mysteries of Harm. It concerns medical ethics, and I think we should have books on medical ethics. So I'm going to press that button and send a different pair of squads off to retrieve. I mean, 20 dwarves to retrieve a single book may be a bit overkill, but we have no idea where it's going to be. That means none of the commanders I have selected are currently travelling, I believe. No. Right.
I mean, what in fact are the ethics of going and taking a book on ethics by force?
I don't know. We don't have books about any kind of ethics other than medical ethics. Aha, while mining bituminous coal and leaving behind a pile of clothes, we have found some tourmaline. Excellent. Let's mine that then, even if we don't bother with the limonite next to it. So we've probably got a decent quantity of things. Right, everyone. All right, it looks like people are still the military dwarves were still hadn't actually made it back into the fortress after the last trip, and they're already setting off on the next one, along apparently with an entire squad of cats. So we've probably now got a decent quantity of porcelain bricks. So possibly I should start paving more of the bedrooms in order to cheer people up. Is that someone pulling up a plant? Yes, I think so. Right, so how are our booze situation? We're probably not actually short of booze anyway, so the fact that we haven't got enough barrels to make... Oh, we have got enough barrels to make more of them. More of it is not really an issue. Like now that we're harvesting fruit from the trees, we have more than enough stuff to drink. Oh, some of them are deciding to leave in a different direction. That's entertaining. They seem a lot less organised than last time.
I've only just got back from the previous one. Maybe they were halfway through unpacking.
Yes, indeed. Maybe I should have been less enthusiastic. Still, they'll be fine. Probably. There are some dead animals here that should be disposed of. Yes. I mean, I'm not quite sure what you are, but you're labelled with a C, which is probably a cat. Let's dispose of dead animals as necessary. People are slowly leaving the map. I wonder what the item was you were trying to store in a stockpile and that you couldn't access. We'll presumably eventually reach the point where we can start making soap again. Right, so... what am I trying to accomplish? Mostly I think I want more steel, which mostly means that we need to keep the smelters busy. Or rather the main smelter that does smelty things. But that is, I mean, admittedly it's also being used to melt random objects that need melting, but that's kind of fine. And will be giving us extra stocks of metal eventually. Right, and now we can see this dwarf is hauling some flux stone and some coal and some iron, I think. Or some coke and some iron. So, oh no, pig iron, chalk, some coke, maybe some more iron. And is thus making steel. It's quite an expensive process in terms of the amount of coal you get through, but like we really don't have a shortage of that. Otter, another otter there. Hello, are you in the military yet? Yes, right, I won't bother looking you up then.
For riding this minecart contraption.
It does look that way.
So all the ones you seem to see riding it have already learned to swim, and I guess that's because they do it a lot because those ones enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that might be the case. Okay, I think we're running out of food storage because the all the nest boxes are full of eggs again. Oh well, if we're lucky we'll be able to brew some of the some more stuff into some of the fruit into drink and then reuse the containers.
See, what you want to be able to do, if you find yourself getting full of is manipulate your fortress's customary public holidays with particular meals. You want to be able to declare a giant fry-up, and then you don't have too many eggs anymore.
What I think I could...
That has an even worse idea.
Egg wine, yes. No, the eggs definitely have to be eaten. But all the fruit is being turned into wine. What I might try doing, actually, is reducing the number of dwarves who are assigned to picking fruit. So I think that's currently going a bit too well. So let's turn one of them off. I mean, I think I should just say advocate. Right, so now we should have enough lye, surely, to make soap. Right, we have enough oil-containing items. We just made 10 lye. But according to that, we've only got 3 lye-containing items. But that's possibly because most of the lye is in a big in a big barrel. That barrel doesn't actually contain very much. There are a zillion buckets here, but I bet they're all empty. In particular, because if they weren't empty... Oh, does that barrel... That barrel contains all the lye, right. So I reckon we're now in a situation where we have very few lye-containing items. So let's... And that, in particular, that one's not firing. That's an amount of lye, and that says we do not have less than 10 lye. That surely means that we do have greater than or equal to 10 lye. We do not have nan lye. So I think what I could now do is adjust the make soap job so that we add an item check. It's a glorious default check. Number of items is at least 0. Curiously, the number of items in this fortress is rather more than 0. Amount of frozen lye items. Well, that's close, and I'm slightly worried that it's still turning out not non-zero. I think we could probably, if we say... amount of liquid lye, then we get something sensible. Right. And if I turn that up, threshold up a bit, yes, then it ticks over at about the right place. So I think now that we're storing the lye in barrels, or in a barrel, we can just say amount of lye is at least 10, and that fires at about the right moment. I mean, possibly we also want to say amount of oil rather than number of oil-containing items, but I think the oil, unlike the lye, can't be stored in a barrel. It would be sensible if it could. Let's just try experimentally making a tiny oil stockpile next to our tiny lye stockpile. I don't even know if we can ask for oil specifically. Like, it's obviously a food. It's not a liquid. Oh, plant extract, yes. Rocknut oil, olive oil, linseed oil, kenaf seed oil, hemp seed oil, cottonseed oil. I mean, we only have one of those, but let's select all of them anyway. Allow 2 barrels. Right, let's see what we end up with in that stockpile now. Will they fill a barrel with oil in the same way that they filled a barrel with lye? And indeed, will the soap making job now work properly? The ageless inks have returned. Well, that was quick.
Only the ageless inks.
And others, it said. Mission report.
We went and did something totally different, and we came home.
Yes. Set out thing. Yes, yes. Are you going to tell me anything else, or did you just set out?
We've only just got back, we haven't written it
Oh, okay. It's like if I choose that one, we get a little play thing and we get messages. That one doesn't appear to come with anything at all. Well, let's see if we've got. Yes, let's watch them. They're probably still returning from some edge of the map or other. Yes, here they come. I suppose the question is, okay, you're not a member of it, are you? You just happen to be dragging a steel helm behind you. Does any of them turn up carrying an object? Oh, maybe these are people who have immediately dropped out of being military because their squad is off duty now, and so for some reason their response to this is to take their helmets off. Right, is everyone back yet? No. Yes, I think some of them are coming back civilians. No, but their orders, their standing order for this month may not be to train, and thus may be in civilian mode. It appears that though that quite a few people are dropping their armour on arrival, which is inconvenient. And then like turning up, hauling their weapons rather than wielding them. Once they're all back, I'll have a look at my artifacts list. Is that everyone? No one else seems to be arriving. See if we can see. Doesn't seem to be in the list. Alright, so those three are the three things that are family heirlooms not currently in the fortress that we could try to retrieve.
Listing large collections of substances earlier about the plant extract called gnome blight.
Oh yes, that's a particularly weird thing, isn't it? Like it's the one thing that some process uses and is almost completely useless.
Apparently it poisons gnomes, except that it's incredibly hard to actually apply it to gnomes, and it's very easy to kill the gnomes by other methods.
Yes. Right, well, I'm going to wait for all of the dwarves that were on that mission to actually
I feel as if
come back into the fortress, and then we'll see if they've got a report.
there ought to be a thing where they all come back and one of them sits down with a typewriter and then after that they got a report.
Yes. We don't have typewriters, mind, but
Well, we're still hammer and chisel. They've got it into a slab.
we do have a library. We probably can write things. Right, we do seem to be successfully setting out to make... all right, to deal with making... to deal with how you get the lye once it's been put into a barrel, they just haul the entire barrel to the soap maker's workshop. Well, that's fine. So we have an empty barrel in the oil stockpile. Yes, let's name these stockpiles, incidentally. Right. And there is someone carrying away some soap. One bar of rock nut soap being hauled to the bathhouse. Okay, apparently crutches are still a thing we're improving. Possibly this finished goods stockpile is set to only handle crutches or something. No, it does appear to be set to handle crowns. What? Oh, I don't know. Right, most of those are the expected failures. Right, of all of the military types got back now? Yes, right, let's see if we've got a report from them now. No. Still a completely empty report. Okay, so what do we... Doesn't seem to be in our list of artifacts, and I think it should be an artifact. It's a codex, isn't it? And none of those looks right. Annoyingly, it's quite hard to find out what they are without like opening their tab, at which point their sheet, at which point you can't conveniently get back to the list. But let's see what the list of artifacts says about it now then. Bet no one can remember where it was last time. Mysteries of Harm. Last in Whispers Nets. Was it in Whispers Nets before? So they certainly don't seem to have recovered it.
Or even found out where it was in what it...
So was it in Whispers Nets before? I bet. Can you remember?
No, I can't remember.
Okay, well let's remember it. We currently believe it's in Whispers Nets. So let's just go, right, we'll have another go. Let's send the other pair. Actually, I don't know that we need to send that many on a recover artifact mission, but still. So it is currently believed to be in Whispers Nets. Let's see if we get any more information. Right, and you're making lye. Yes, good. Who's making soap? That's nice. If anyone is making soap. You just right. So you're bringing in the oil in a jug. And then you do some soap making. You are, after all, a High Master soaper. Which probably means you're quite quick at making soap. Finished up some work, satisfied. Hauling in another bucket, a bucket full of lye, and from somewhere over here, a jug of oil. And make some more soap. And we're also producing more oil for the purposes of making more soap. And are we now in a situation where if I look over here, Yes, this bin actually has soap in it. Right, military dwarves are all setting off again.
So I have a vague thought. The first report didn't say anything about the actual purpose of the mission.
It's true, yes.
Combat. Is it possible that there's a bug in the mission logs where they only show combat, and this mission failed without any combat being involved?
It's possible. And so, yes, we don't get told what didn't happen. Namely, finding anything. But we didn't even have any travelling in there. Which is, because like,
In either one?
well no, but we did see it on the map. If we go to, oh no, reports, that one, we can see that they travelled up to there.
Yeah, right.
Got into a fight. And eventually, after much fighting, I think it went last time, yes, then they came home again by a more sensible route.
Ah, so maybe the problem now is that they just don't know where to look.
That one, nothing happens at all. They don't even seem to set off. Well, the next pair of squads have, well, one of the squads has set off. The other one seems still to be trying to extract itself from the fortress. So how are our unhappy dwarves? Who are our unhappy dwarves? All of our maximally unhappy dwarves are now children. That's nice. And probably healthy, in a sense. Right, you need a better bedroom. I slept in a bedroom, I do not see the bliss in this. I mean, either that or we need to send you out to sleep not in a bedroom for a little bit. It was a good bedroom, but it wasn't a good enough bedroom, I think. It wasn't a bedroom like a personal palace. Right. Because like a lot of these bedrooms are a bit uninspiring, really. Happily, we've got lots of porcelain bricks available. So we can start flooring a bunch of bedrooms with them. Inconveniently, because there is stuff in the way that stops me just flooring the entire bedroom in each case. But that should make those bedrooms a bit more valuable, for instance. Also, some people desperately need cabinets in their bedrooms, but maybe I've gone and I should put the cabinets on top of new bits of porcelain floor, but I've gone and put all the porcelain floor in bedrooms that already had cabinets. Also, I'm not sure we have any spare cabinets. Our brewing process is proceeding apace. We have filled up the secondary booze stockpile and made 10 bars of soap. I have a couple of rather unhappy dwarves here because they've been imprisoned. Oh dear, are you not wearing adequate clothing? You do seem to be a bit short of clothes, yes. which is probably not helping, and you can't get any more because, well, you're in prison. I don't think anyone will provide you with clothes. So you're much better. Yeah, probably not porcelain, it's probably Claire, it's probably stoneware or some such. Not that Dwarf Fortress has caused me to actually learn about the different kinds of ceramics or anything. Basically, there are three kinds in Western classification: earthenware, stoneware, and porcelain. And the distinction between them is the temperature at which you fire them, or rather, the temperature at which you can fire the material you make them from. Porcelain is the hottest and the most valuable. At least in Dwarf Fortress, but I think in the real world as well. Right, there we have a nice personal palace message. Fantastic bedroom. Possibly we shouldn't be improving crutches, but might be better things for us to be improving. Oh well, I'm sure it's nice having crutches decorated with gems.
I wouldn't want to stick one in my armpit and menace with spikes.
It's possible some of them menace with spikes. Right, the cobalt tongs have apparently returned again, or is that the message from before? Oh no, so migrants have arrived.
They are listed as not off map anymore, so
Right, excellent. And indeed, here come a bunch of people carrying random bits of armour. I think you're one of our new migrants, though. Do these ones also get listed as new arrival briefly? No. Just thinking I should check whether they all still exist. That looks good. Oh gods, when I do that with the scroll operation, I think that's also scrolling the list behind. As in, if I start with this at the top and scroll down and back up again, they both end up at the top. If I start with the list at the top and scroll down and then go back, they end up at the bottom. How very silly. This is what you get for inventing your own user interface toolkit. Yes, we now have an increasingly silly quantity of booze in this fortress. Now, I'm trying to control this mostly by restricting the production of fruit. No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is to select that stockpile and enlarge it a bit. Yes, thank you. In this fortress, we do not make cheese. We have more than enough food without making cheese. We live on eggs, and we have a surplus of those. Oh, Cancels make ash out of... Oh, right, we've run out of wood. That's amusing. Well, that's fine. We mostly only need wood to make ash to make soap. Apparently we had so much oil, though, that we have used up all of the wood that we had in making ash to make lye to make soap. Though there is a kind of queue of the stuff. Well, when someone turns up with a thing, trade caravan will buy all their wood. Right, let's have a look at the reports and see if the new report says anything useful. It does not, right? Let's find it in the list again. Still last heard from in Whispers Nets. Right, I'm going to declare that there is something that doesn't work when we try to fetch the Mysteries of Harm. Possibly we just can't find it, but they don't even bring back a report. Yes. Let's not go for something that's in vessel platted. We do have... So what have we got of the things that are actually claimed by locals? Preferably not something that's in Whispers Nets. Right, so shower slides the ruined owner. Is we think we know we know who last had it, and it's claimed by a local family. So let's send a couple of squads to try to reclaim shower slides the ruined owner and see if that works. We only know who last had it. I don't know whether we know where that person is. I kind of assume someone does. Right, now that we've got a decent supply of soap, our dwarves should also cheer up by virtue of having nice soapy baths. So is the soap making now on hold because we've run out of lye again? No, it's on hold because we've run out of oil. Excellent. Right, so we have managed to process a decent quantity of our oil stocks into soap. And obviously we can make more oil, but things are going reasonably sanely. We haven't accidentally burnt down an entire forest just to turn it into soap. Oh, someone has been possessed, so they're probably going to make an artifact of some sort. I think I just spotted someone with an exclamation mark somewhere down here. So why is this dwarf unhappy? You're a playful dwarf, are you? Yes. I mean, that really should not be very unhappy. I think you're just an annoyed child. Right, bunch of dwarves heading off again. Right, you seem to be happily collecting items. already a legendary surgeon, but you can't use your mood to create to do surgery. You've got a beak. I mean, you've picked up a beak. It's not part of you, obviously. And some purring maggot leather. And some rough tiger eyes. Now you're after something more complicated, are you? Sorry, I'm just going to watch this dwarf fetching items now. Probably some kind of stone if you're coming down here. Or metal. Steel. Ooh. I don't know that we can afford to provide you with steel. Not that we have a choice. I mean, at least one nice thing is that most of my dwarves are happy, so the moods don't tend to be murderous. Goodness, there's a lot of stuff going into this artifact. More steel? Interesting the way you get to the steel stocks appears to be to go through several people's bedrooms and the mines below the steel. Yes, more mines below the stockpile. More steel. This possibly suggests that the layout of my fortress leaves a little to be desired. Right, well done. Maybe I should widen that corridor. That corridor there seemed to be causing some trouble.
Retrieval mission getting back.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm busy watching this surgeon collecting steel. Aha, right. And he is now, I think, settled down to begin a mysterious construction. All right, we are improving worn gloves as well. So yes, they're just appearing on the edge of the map, as is appropriate. So what does it look like they're trying to do at this stage? It looks like they're immediately going into like useful activities. Yes, go to combat training and such. Yes, well, let's wait for them all to arrive. Then we'll have a look at their report. Well, you seem to be injured. Or possibly you were injured already before you set off. Ah, right, yes, you appear not to have a right hand. Then I should probably remove you from the military, because if you lose both your hands, you're going to be in trouble. So Uzul Omris Nokim should, I think, be replaced. With, well, I feel I should promote someone else from the Cobalt Tongs. Oh, but most of them haven't got back yet, I think. Let's wait for more of them to return. I suspect I accidentally put Uzol Omris Nokim into the Cobalt Tongs while I was reorganising things recently. And that I shouldn't have. Right, I think that must be everyone. So do I actually get the opportunity to appoint someone who's already in the Cobalt Tongs? Or is there a weird rule which says you can't promote from within the ranks of the same squad? Okay, well, let's in that case promote a legendary fighter and legendary hammer dwarf, probably. Into leading the Cobalt Tongs. And then fill the vacant position there with not Uzol Elmris Nokim, but someone else. And actually, let's now look up Uzol Omris Nokim in here. Oh, is it just change their entire name? Let's give him a name so that we'll be able to okay, apparently yes, let's edit that so that because apparently that doesn't set their entire name. Let's go for one hand Omris Nokim. Right, that way we'll be able to remember not to put him back into the military. Or her. I've not actually been paying attention to their gender. Right, so what does that? Do we have a report on that one? Is it a useful report? No. Right, I'm going to declare that these attempts at recovering artifacts are not proving useful. So possibly we're going to get tribute from.
Do you get to click on a civilization and see whether it thinks it's paying tribute?
Let's find that out. So it's the failed dungeons, isn't it? Yes. So that says you have no agreements. So whether it really means that, I don't know. Maybe we should go and demand tribute from the elves. Like, we have no contact with any elven civilization at the moment. So if we went and raided an elven forest retreat of Spike Mists, which has a population less than 10, and demanded ongoing tribute from them.
They want you to leave them alone.
Thank you. Let's just send one squad, the Cobalt Tongs, see what happens. Yes, we can give dwarves nicknames. I don't use this very often, but... So currently, one hand, Omris Knockim is desperately trying to find some clothes after he's been deprived of his armour. Right, he has got himself some rather tatty clothes, but he has some clothes now.
Guinea fowl leather shirt.
Yes.
That must have taken a number of guinea fowl.
Yes. Possibly. Apparently he's ambivalent after putting on his rather glorious new clothes. Partly, I think, because they're a bit worn. Created a gypsum crown because we didn't have enough crowns. Called Clam Melted. It is a gypsum crown, or it's quite a valuable gypsum crown. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with cushioned gypsum cabochons and oval cinnabar cabochons, and decorated with beak dog bone. This object is adorned with hanging rings of conglomerate, and menaces with spikes of llama wool, purring maggot leather, and steel. On the item is an image of Vabok Labour-Yeld the dwarf and dwarves in cinnabar. Vabok Labour-Yeld is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Vabok Labour-Yeld to the position of king of the Yorbs of Yor in 1. On the item is an image of radiant cut gems in tiger eye. On the image is an item of Clam Melted the gypsum crown, i.e. itself, in steel.
I think we have the general opinion that a spike of llama wool does not menace very effectively.
Yes. But it's got steel spikes as well, so that kind of makes up for it. Can we then say that that should obviously be the king's crown? Because I think the king doesn't currently have a crown, or at least doesn't have an official crown. Oh right, he has a scepter. Was that an Ilushal? I've forgotten what his name was. No. Well, we've got two. We've also got a bauxite crown, but that's not as good. Right. Okay. So the crown we want is Odshith Kalal. Let us grant the monarch Odshith Kalal as well as a symbol of office. Yeah, maybe we should produce some of the goods people want. 2 bins, 2 chains and a quern.
You earlier say somebody was in need of cabinets.
Yeah, I had a general feeling we should make some cabinets, or possibly just install some cabinets. Quern. 2, 2, 1. Right, we have no cabinets at the moment. We've got a decent stock of rock at the moment. Let's make 10 rock cabinets. Yeah, that's an awful lot of messages. Slightly surprised that we couldn't plant rock nuts. I've tried to. Oh right, they've got planted eventually. The collect hive product seems to be problem seems to be perfectly normal.
Yes, good luck. Good night.
Good night.
Remove entry dot dot in dot 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 slash.
We're still brewing things. We have moderately stupid amounts of booze, but that's fine. We have moderately stupid amounts of food as well. I'm trying to slow down our production of fruit. Someone is squishing rock nut paste into a jug so as to produce rock nut oil. We're now making some more cabinets simply to try to persuade the dwarves to put their clothes away. And yes, our squad is on a fairly long mission to try to persuade the elves to send me tribute, and we haven't ever encountered an elf before. Oh right, all of those are actually marked for melting. I was going, we should melt down any arrows we have lying around or similar. And yes, they are all marked for melting. It's just a slow process, possibly because they get melted one at a time. I'm not sure. Maybe we need a separate smelter for melting things. I think I've done that in the past. I thought I did it in this fortress, but we don't seem to have... We do only appear to have 2 smelters, and one of them is for the purposes of making coke, and the other one is for everything else. Oh yes, what happened to the that Craftsdwarf's workshop should probably be... Oh, you've still got a job. What's going on with you, Tobal Doranfesh? Do I have some restriction that means you're not actually allowed to work as a Craftsdwarf? But, like, crafting is not, I don't think... Woodcrafting is not a restricted activity. So why, Tobal Doranfesh, are you refusing to make that one set of wooden crafts that would make you happy? Like, you're extremely stressed in part because you can't craft anything. There is a job scheduled to craft a thing and you're not crafting it. Are you restricted by virtue of being in a group that can't do other things? You're not specialised. You are assigned to work details 3 and 6. Let's work out what he's up to. You're assigned as a beekeeper because you're a high master beekeeper. But in any case, these aren't themselves restricted, and you're assigned to ride mine carts. Only that doesn't work anyway, as far as we can tell. Because while it's set to only selected do this, where this is push all vehicles, I'm pretty sure we've seen others do it. But just in case... Oh, someone's dead. That's sad. Let's investigate that in a moment. Just in case minecart riding is now working properly, let's remove Tobal Doranfesh from it. And actually temporarily set it to everyone. A stray horse has been found, starved to death, probably because they weren't properly assigned to their pasture. Let's just have a quick sweep through animals and make sure they're all properly assigned to their pasture, i.e. that anything that might want to graze is assigned to this pasture. Should be. Obviously, like dogs and cats don't graze. Don't think boars do either. Or turkeys. Rabbits do, I think. Yes, I think most of the animals are properly assigned there. Also, we should just check if any of them needs gelding. Basically, if they have a geld button, we should turn it on. Yeah, I think a couple have arrived with the latest migrant waves. Don't think most of those are anything to worry about. It is slightly weird when you get cancels drink, job item lost or destroyed. Well, currently, Tobal Doranfesh has picked up a bill and jug and is going to collect hive products. And is no longer hauling anything. So does that mean that somewhere in here, have they just like put down the jug, or did that just get cancelled? Didn't just get cancelled. Those are just honeybee remains. Like slightly going, where did those hive products go? Curious. There is some woodcrafting waiting for you. You are the only person allowed to do it. It will make you much happier. And you apparently are refusing to do this. And instead you're storing a pigtail glove in a bin. Slightly tempted to try to export you to try to take over a nearby settlement just so I can export you to it. Maybe when the Cobalt Tongs get back, we'll try to organise that. Pleased to see someone wandering around with some soap again. Obviously it's lost track of where... Oh, that's the dwarf I'm watching. I can tell they're the unhappy one. Now you've decided to get some clothes of your own. That's fine. But yes, why aren't you, like, doing some crafting? Look, there's a job here that is solely for you. I suppose I could try setting that to, will only do assigned tasks. Will that do the job? Do I then also need to mark them as being the only person allowed to engage in woodcrafting? Will that accomplish anything helpful? Well, let's wait a bit and see if anything interesting happens. So how are we off for steel bars? Can I make any more useful objects from steel yet? Got 7. So let's have a quick look at the equipment list for our... That wasn't the window I was expecting to see. Don't I usually, when I choose that equip, get something that like shows me how much each person has? Oh well, it'll do. So yes, we're still on iron for quite a lot of things. Let's just make a couple of steel helms. Yes, you're going to craft a thing. I mean, you're going to craft the wrong thing, but I shall not worry about that. Oh, because you were set up to go wood crafting and we're out of wood. Yes, okay. That's fine. Go and craft something out of wax. I don't care. You may be a competent wood crafter, but I'm sure you can learn wax crafting as well. And like that kind of goes with High Master Beekeeper. Now, I'm just going to watch this dwarf until they've successfully crafted something. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff going on. Right. We have fixed your desperate need to craft things. Now go and booze, and preferably do so in a merrymaking way. Oh yes, let's widen that corridor. So I think that's meant to be a door, but it doesn't actually, owing to, meant to be the door to the dining room, but it doesn't actually block the entrance to the dining room owing to stoats. But we can at least widen that section fairly safely. I think. And actually, I think the right thing to do about that door is just to move it. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this while following someone. Will you stop for a moment? I'll pause. There. Right, the cobalt tongs have returned. And Tobal Doranfesh has found some booze. Whether that will fulfill his requirements for making merry, I'm not sure. No, apparently not. Still. You are actually a member of the Wanderers of Tongs, which means you should have gone on a trip recently. Right, so the cobalt tongs have returned. Let's see what we have, what we know of their recent trip. Right, they headed off southwards. So far they had to scroll the map. They secured tribute to be delivered from Spike Mists every autumn. See, that's what happens when it works properly. Right, well, that's nice. Maybe we should try... Oh, right, that's why their equipment didn't look right, because they weren't actually on the map at the time, I think. Okay, it looks like one of them still hasn't quite re-entered the map. We really should be able to turn driftwood into something useful. It's not fair that we can't. Oh, I think we may finally be out of cookable items. We've made a couple of steel helms. So... I think the ageless inks, the cobalt tongs rather, may actually have returned now. Yes. So it looks like many of them may not actually be wearing their trousers, even though they're assigned. I'm not quite sure what this all means. Yes, you do indeed not appear to be wearing any trousers. Why do you not wear your trousers, you strange people? Possibly they prefer skirts. Maybe I should make a batch of leather skirts. And the problem, I don't think I can say either trousers or skirts. Let's pick someone who's not wearing trousers. If I say new leg wear, I can just say wear some leather leg wear and allow them to choose for themselves, and see what they put on. I mean, I can just say leg wear and let them choose for themselves. I mean, the thing is, they have selected some trousers, they're just not wearing them. It does seem to be a particular problem with the trousers. Though, admittedly, these guys are, like, not wearing any of their official armour yet. Possibly because they haven't actually gone into training or something. That's kind of weird. Let's just... And their armour should be set up so that... Or is it no, the schedule should be set up such that they're... Oh, right. No, they're set to equip orders only. That's weird. Okay. Yes, they should all be set to always equip. Do I have to do this? That looks like I'm just... Well, now why have I got one that's set to no orders and one that's set to off duty? Alright, if I change it to... I think off-duty is slightly more off-duty than no orders. Did pressing escape there just do something unhelpful? I don't think it did. Well, this might help with getting them to keep their armour on, at least. You already know orders. Just turn all of them on here, and then we can check things. Like, the idea that you would have them take their armour off just because they're off duty seems silly. Alright, yes, ready, I think, is the wearing armour when not... wearing armour all the time but not doing anything else. There's all sorts of interesting stuff happening in my left bar. It's now summer. None of that's very interesting. Yeah, that one appears to be entirely correct otherwise. And Waters of Twinkling. Oh, hello, it's a vile force of darkness. Well, let me finish setting up my military. Right. So, now everyone's actually meant to be wearing their armour, their uniform all the time. Sorry, I'm just reading back through IRC, which is discussing the possibility of military dwarves all wearing elven black lace thongs (brackets foreign). Right, so let's see where our vile force of darkness is. Has it arrived in the standard place? It has. Let's just tidy some of this up. And it's buggered off again. What? Like, I unpaused and the vile force of darkness vanished from the edge of the map. There were about 5 or 6 goblins here, and now there aren't. Well, that was a bit dull. I think they just bravely turned their tail and fled the moment they saw the fortress. Well, let's get rid of that dead dog skeleton or whatever it is. How dull. Well, in that case, let's see if we can... I wonder if the reason why we ended up in a fight at the when we tried to get tribute from Elderghoul is because we were already at war with Elderghoul's civilization. So maybe we could go after one of the other goblin civs, like the washed flies, with whom we don't... Ah, look, here we are. We are now getting tribute from the Faint Autumn. We were at peace. We were meant... Oh, right, yes. That's the location, is the Faint Autumn, and the civilization is the White Saffron. So does that mean... Do we do all... All right, yes. So it's only that one site. It's a site that sends us tribute. Is there any... Does the Faint Autumn actually have it? Sorry, is it Faint Autumn? Does the White Civ... Does the White Saffron have anywhere else? Does it turn out that the White Saffron is actually like... There appear to be a lot of little... In particular, we appear to have a bunch of goblin forest retreats down there. So that one then says Civ, the White Saffron, no contact. Though we do actually appear to be at peace with the White Saffron, which is kind of an improvement. So let's try going for a goblin civilization we don't have contact with. The washed flies. And try demanding tribute from the washed flies instead. Maybe go for one of the larger pits. Go to Hatred Flood. Send the 2 that didn't go on the last one and demand ongoing tribute from them. And see how that goes. Oh, but we did get a couple of goblin snatchers at least. Well, conveniently, a bunch of my military dwarves are just about to set off somewhere. Admittedly, apparently while hauling extra socks in an inconvenient direction. Why are you leaving in that direction? It's south. Well, let's get... those two squads onto the surface. Wait for the goblin snatchers to get close to the fortress, and then we'll start killing them. Okay, something scared the animals. Right, let's take one of my squads and have them kill that goblin. And then can I find the other goblin? I think there are only two. Ah, there it is. Send the other squad after that one. Since there's only two of them. Well, that was an effective beheading. I think the goblin died there and its head died there. The other one has fled southwards somewhere. Right, you knocked him out by punching him in the head. Sufficiently hard that you broke his neck. And then hacked his head off with a battle axe. Well, yes, that's probably a fairly effective way of disposing of a goblin thief. How's the other one doing? Still can't see it. Or is that one of the squads that's leaving the map? No. Is the goblin thief still on the map? No. Right. I think we've frightened the other one off. And now the dwarves are like hanging around at the edge of the map going, what should we do next? So let's cancel their orders. We will pick up that goblin head later. Let's make sure we've got a pedestal to put it on, though. In particular, that'll be a convenient reminder that we need to install a goblin head on it in due course. Oh, more children being born. Lots of people cancelling jobs because they were interrupted by goblins. Okay, I was slightly worried that there might be that this was all grass had been destroyed by too much trampling, but no, the situation there is that the entire area is covered in blood. That's perfectly normal. Well, we can make bolts if you want. You can't actually make wooden bins at the moment. I think we're out of wood. Which is why indeed there's a make wooden bin job sitting there waiting for some traders to turn up with some wood. Meanwhile, we should dispose of that goblin and reclaim all their property. And there is a goblin head which will eventually reduce to a skull so that we can put it on a pedestal. What's going on with the brewing orders at the moment? Right, is that we're short of barrels again? Yes, we have plenty of stuff we can ferment, we just don't have any barrels to put it in. That's just silly. Like, I could make more barrels, except we're also out of wood. So I'm not going to. We have an adequacy of booze. All right, that area needs a bit of smoothing. I marked this area for smoothing and it hasn't got smoothed. Curious. And is like leaking water horribly as a result. Occurs to me actually we should wall off eventually there won't be water there. Probably. Wall off this little side room. Oh, come on. Damn it, I missed the moment. Wall off this little side room so that it isn't contributing to our water problems, I think. Yes. Maybe this is a bit optimistic. No, it's not the sea, it's just a aquifer. But apparently I can't actually build a wall here because it's too wet. Because it's all aquifer. Oh, there we go. I mean, that does assume this area is accessible, but it looks accessible. Yeah. Like, that's a perfectly accessible staircase. Turns up in someone's bedroom. Most things in this fortress turn out to be in someone's bedroom. Oh, did we manage to make any stone cabinets? Yes, excellent. Just at least install them in a couple of rooms that don't have cabinets and do have bits of floor in them. I mean, those ones also don't appear to have any random clothes on the floor, which makes me wonder whether they're actually assigned to anyone. Right, and improve a couple more bedrooms with some bricks. One of the annoying things about this version of Dwarf Fortress is the way that things marked for smoothing are not visibly labelled in any way, so it's hard for us to tell whether I actually correctly tagged all of that space for smoothing. So just paying a small amount of attention to how much gypsum I've got lying around, but there seems to be enough. Admittedly, that dwarf appears to be selecting gypsum from odd places. Oh yeah, we could kind of pay attention to the king's... Like, the king doesn't actually have a dining room or a study assigned at all. And I'm pretty sure I've built them a dining room and a study. Yes, I just haven't assigned them, apparently. Well, we could do that at least. No, I meant multi. There. And a dining room. Not that the dining room has any chairs in, so that will annoy the king, but still. Right. Now the king does at least have all the room, well, apart from a tomb, most of the rooms that a king wants, albeit none of them in quite the level of quality that the king would like. Right, I actually have no spare thrones. Well, let's try to make a platinum throne then. Because that will probably cheer the king up. And yes, we should probably pick a patch of the map that we are not using for anything and declare it to be the king's tomb. We have this random little offshoot here that I declared to be the duke's tomb. Do you think we could assign the king an entire huge kaolinite cluster that no one wants? Is there one that's really empty? Everything in this floor that isn't the bedrooms. Is there a burial thing that's made of metal? Surely we can make, lead coffins or something. Sarcophagus, right. I didn't mean 10 platinum thrones. That would be silly. I mean, okay, we could probably have 2 platinum thrones, because then we can stick one in the throne room as well. Sebas, does this really make them happy? Well, this is the thing. The king doesn't seem to mind very much that we're not providing for all the things he claims to want. The king seems to be quite cheerful, really. Despite the loneliness, he's embarrassed about the state of his dining room. Mostly, actually, he's unhappy about getting into arguments and drinking without goblets and and trauma and is lonely about being unable to make merry. So, like, the king's actual obsessions appear to be perfectly ordinary and nothing to do with kingliness. Kind of thinking we need to send the Splatter the Lyrical Seas of Turmoil and such off to do things just in order to ensure that someone else gets to go on the minecarts. They're still off on their trip, yes. Oh yes, we should put that wall back now that we've actually managed to make that pair of bedrooms accessible. It's a much more popular temple now that we've put a booze stockpile in it, isn't it? Euphoric due to inebriation at the same time as feeling wonder after communing with Erong. How much better can it be than that? That horse corpse doesn't look like it's actually going to be butchered. I mean, it's not rotting, so I'm slightly surprised. If that job isn't going to get scheduled, then we should probably throw it out before it rots. All of the available... actually, that means all of the available nest boxes are being used as well. Let's make... Well, 10 is an excessive number of nest boxes to make, but that's fine. We've got space for them. So have we now reached the point where the all the soap making processes are like winding up a bit? Like, yes, we're rate limited by the oil now, I think. That task is kind of stuck because we're short of wood. Maybe the elves will bring some. I'm sure they'll be very happy with us turning their wood into soap. We are happily melting things, even though we do only have one smelter on that job. Possibly we should have more, in particular because we do seem to be taking slightly too long to make steel bars. Right, we've now made a platinum sarcophagus. How about we declare this entire cluster here to be the king's tomb. It's like reasonably accessible. It's mostly empty already. Needs a few doors or walls. But like we could probably set up a couple of doors. Where would we put it here? Well, let's put it there, and then we'll assemble some walls around that to make it work properly. So that way we will establish an enormous tomb for the king, which will almost certainly not be any good because it's, well, not very smooth. The ageless inks and others have returned. Possibly they have a report for me. So they trundled off southwards. And they'd secured tribute from the tick of verses to be delivered from Hatred Flood every winter. Winter! We actually get stuff arriving in winter. How exciting. So, yes, we are at peace with the washed flies. Unlike the failed dungeons who we're at war with. So, yes, it appears we can demand tribute from anyone we're at peace with. If we try to get... even though officially they're exports of terror, actually they're not going to be sending us terror and receiving vengeance, because we're not at war with them. I don't think we'll get actual trade caravans from them. We're at extortion with the washed flies. Yes, that's more or less it. What are these fish? Salmon and mackerel. Right. I was wondering what new colours of fish. Yes, we might be able to get artefacts by raiding or pillaging or razing. At least for those artefacts that we can find out to be in a place that we can do that to. I think it appears in this view. When there are rumoured to be artefacts in a place. So we could see if... So seduce actions appears to have may have empty pointed present. So we could send a trip to openly attack empty pointed, not empty pointed, where seduced actions. Let's wait for the Wanderers of Thingamy to properly return. It looks like they're still reappearing on the map. And then maybe we send all 3 of them to try to pillage a goblin site. Oh, a human caravan has arrived. Excellent. I presume we've still got like something we can trade. Got some quite valuable crutches there. Let's send that up there for the crutches. Those are our those are mostly not locally made socks, interestingly. Quite a lot of them are locally made socks. Don't want to sell all my socks. Socks are valuable. On the other hand, that thing full of worn clothes can go. At least some of that armour is of little use. That appears to be mostly locally made clothes again. That, on the other hand, is unwanted clothes. That's random tat. That's largely unwanted clothes. That's got at least some random tat in it. That has at least some things we might want to sell if we're feeling in that kind of mood. We've also got some steel chain leggings there. Possibly we should encourage people to wear them. That's dead clothes. That's random tat. More random tat. Keep those shoes. Oh, hang on, are those large shoes? Those are not much value to us. Then the humans will probably have more use for them. That looks like it might be useful clothes. Oh, some of them are worn out. Yeah, one worn out glove, though, not worth the hassle. The place where I was planning to retrieve an artifact from was called something like Seduced Actions. That, and given the value, probably an artifact which we won't sell. Oversized clothing. At least some leather items we don't want. We'll keep that lot. Not actually trying to sell bill and goblets or honeycomb at this stage. That looks like nice socks. Yes. That's got some leather armour which we can dispose of. No. That's got a load of leather armour that we can dispose of. That's got a load of tat. as has that. That's got leather armour. Right. I mean, in theory I can move things that aren't bins, but seems unnecessary. Right, and here is the incoming human caravan. Who have brought at least some military types with them. Right, and we have some platinum thrones for the king as well. So in particular we could install one in his dining room next to his dining table, which seems like a good plan. And we could also install one in his throne room, which seems like obviously necessary. So the rather odd King's Tomb is still being sorted out. Merchants have arrived, but it will take a little while for them to unload, just as it will take us a little while to get stuff into place, especially with their rather slow-moving camels. I think those are camels. Yes. Have you been run down by a minecart by any chance? Yes, you have. What a pity. You foolish cat. Well, at least you managed to die in an easily accessible place. Okay, there's apparently a task involving that cat corpse already, so let's let that continue. They seem to have brought a lot of fish with them, which is not very helpful. Like, we do not have a food shortage, we really do not. If we manage to get under 1,000 food, I might consider trying to make more food. Our broker is apparently already bringing stuff to the depot, so I don't think I need to ask them to come and trade here yet. Plus, like, the last camel is... Why is that camel moving so slowly? Not actually injured, but for some reason is nonetheless not standing up. which like is going to make moving it around a bit difficult. Yes, it is possible that it's weak. Well, I assume someone's going to deal with that cat corpse in due course. Yes, this human is also not standing up for some reason. I mean, it is carrying quite a lot of stuff. Does this mean we can inspect the wagons and see whether they're fully unloaded? I think we can, yes. So if I select this two-humped camel, will they, when they arrive, suddenly lose all their stuff? The human's not carrying it, the camel's carrying all the stuff. Which is why it can't move. Well, it might not be why it can't move. I presume when it arrives at the trade depot, eventually, which it seems to have done now, it will then disgorge all of its stuff into the trade depot. Yes, there we go. So we can see what it means when it says have arrived and are unloading their goods. Right, that last camel is now unloaded. So probably we can now trade some things. So the broker is apparently the one bringing the last item to the depot. Is that them there? Yes. How about you trade at the depot? Thank you. What? You've gone off to drink while I've switched between interfaces, you horror. Also, how is that mining there still pending? Where have all my miners got to? How's the King's Tomb looking while we wait for traders to sort themselves out? Right, it seems to have all of its doors now, so we ought now to be able to say declare a tomb in multi-mode based on that point. Not enclosed. I'm pretty sure it is, you're just not looking far enough away from it. Well, that's unfair. Okay, can I do this by hand then? Right, no. Slightly silly activity, but that's now the king's tomb. It is probably not good enough for the king, but it is at least a tomb. It's a fine tomb. It is in no way a royal mausoleum, but still, the king at least now has all of the rooms that he wants. So can we trade now? No, the broker's still drinking. Right, well, I would quite like to see what these traders have brought with them before I go to bed, but it is getting late. Let's not accidentally pause, though. Maybe the broker will come back in a moment. All right, the broker's on his way back. Good. Right. So what have they got to sell us? Is any of it any use? Hint, we're going to buy all your... See, we are short of gems, but none of the gems they've brought are any good. We'll have all your logs, though, so that we don't have to cut down our own trees. Don't think we're short of rope, really. I mean, the soldiers do like having flasks, or water skins. Maybe we should just buy a batch of water skins for the soldiers. Well, except for that one. And that one. Oh, I should have a quick look in the trees, shouldn't I? And check that there's no one stuck in them. Now we have the tedious thing where we aren't allowed to export bins, so we have to export the contents of bins. May as well avoid exporting the socks that aren't worn out, or at least worn. I mean, quite why the humans would want to buy a large quantity of worn clothing in a size that doesn't fit them, I don't know, but... Possibly we should buy a bunch more... musical instruments. Would we like a female grackle? Yes, I think that's a kind of bird. I reckon we probably can't actually do much with a... Oh, yes, if it's an item... Well, let me have another go at trying to work out how vermin pets work. Right, I think I'm not going to try buying any booze, because I think we're okay for booze now. Similarly, buckets, whips, maces, crossbows, picks, bows. It may actually be that we don't have very much we want to buy from these guys. Don't accidentally sell them a artifact. It's like all of their clothes are going to be the wrong size anyway. Oh, they'll probably have brought some leather and some cloth with them, won't they? We can buy that. Hello, we've got plenty of beak dog bone bracelets because we got attacked by goblins with beak dogs. Plus, like everything made of beeswax because we have beeswax. I should use the page down button thing in the scroll bar, it's quicker. Okay, they have mostly brought cloth, which is kind of good. In bins of 10 items, which will leave us with an excess of bins as always. They've brought an awful lot of cloth. Maybe I don't actually need to buy all of it. But like, it's available. I think I may need to check that I'm not going to run out of things to buy it with. Maybe they've got things other than cloth we want. I should probably have prioritised buying books actually, shouldn't I? Just because Claire would like that. Hope they like sceptres. Yes. Wax trinket. Exporting wax trinkets is kind of weird. So wondering what these flasks contain and whether they're full of royal jelly. Generally working on the assumption that jugs are probably full of royal jelly now. Like, there'll be a few of them that contain honey and we don't care, and we'll sell a bit of honey. Do not export rope. Let's go down and look at books. If they've brought any books. Don't get distracted by the cheese, we have adequate food. Or the spikes. Or the fruit. Or the fish. All that, the anvils, all the large gems, all the rings, all the bracelets. Okay, that looks like they haven't brought any books with them at all. Like, what's the point of a trade caravan that doesn't bring books? Just going to have to buy all their cloth, aren't we? I mean, they brought some parchment, so maybe I should buy some parchment off them and try to get my library actually useful. Oh dear, we've got a bunch of crowns, and crowns are currently banned from export. Don't export empty bill and jugs. I think we must have got the crowns out on some earlier occasion when we were still allowed to export crowns. Right, okay, let's look at sheet. How about we buy all their sheet as well? Okay, that's enough profit probably. Sheet means paper or parchment, things you can write on. Oh, dice. Let's buy an icosahedral die for next to nothing. And some scroll rollers. Right, well, I think that's everything we want from them. They won't have steel anyway. And, like, they don't have any good gems. We're buying all the wood they've brought, but it's not much. We're not buying rope because we won't be able to sell it again. I don't think we want... I mean, we could buy more. Let's just make sure we've got every possible kind of musical instrument. I'm confident we've bought a thrush already. Like, I would not have been able to resist the temptation to buy a thrush. Well, we'll have to melt those mail shirts. We don't want them, won't we? Probably worth selling a worn maple shield. Worn metal armour we should probably melt down. Not into the green yet. Getting rid of a bunch of things we don't want though. Yes, armour is more prone to being made of materials that we can eventually melt down, though our melting process is quite slow, it looks like, to the extent that I think I should separate it off into its own smelter so that it doesn't tie up our smelter for so long. Oh, come on, you must be happy with this soon. Giant bat leather armour. Back to, oh, that'll do. Right, trade. There we go, that will do. I think that's everything we plausibly want to buy from them. So, we have done some trading with the humans, and thus we have a stock of wood again, which is helpful. And some sheets, which we could probably use in the library if we can actually organise the library properly. And we're melting things and should reorganise melting so that it's more efficient. And we should try actually, like, militarily attacking our neighbours at some point soon. Like, we have contacts with more people than we used to. Are getting tributes from a couple of them, and I think we want to, there was one of these that had an actual artifact at it, and I think we should go and try a proper raid of the place that had an artifact that we're nominally at war with in the failed dungeons. The last time they attacked us, the failed dungeons ran away as soon as they saw as soon as they reached the edge of the map, which was a little embarrassing for someone. Enormous pile of jugs there, which we're selling to them. Anyway, so that will be all for tonight. We will be back on Friday, I expect. So we will see you then. Until then, save and return to title menu, and good night.